You may be used to booting up Visual Studio and writing Hello World programs in a manner that consumes really more memory than it should, but anyways, programmers back in the day didn't have these kinds of luxuries, and I mean like way back in the day, just a little after World War II. A few different people were realizing that you could probably have some sort of device that would control the TV signal based on a user input, or in other words, a video game. After a long while of planning and designing, Magnavox came out with the Odyssey in 1972, currently over 50 years ago. I mean, there were a few other experimental things decades before that, but we're not going to talk about that. This was the first ever gaming console that you could plug into your TV and actually play video games right at home. I mean, the arcade games were also pretty new, so it was arguably the first time you could play video games ever. The Magnavox Odyssey was a pile of garbage. It was capable of showing a single vertical line and 3 dots. Depending on which cartridge you put in, the machine was able to handle these dots differently. Really, all these cartridges did was press down on different combinations of input pins, which affected the hardware differently. That's it. The screens didn't have color back then, so you put this piece of plastic over your TV and pretended like it was real. Like, woohoo, I'm skiing. Now, to be fair, the Magnavox Odyssey was the first kind of machine to get a Pong type of game up and running. At least they beat everyone to obtain a patent. Then Atari made Pong shortly after, which wasn't a console, it was just a huge box that played a single game. But it was way more successful than the Odyssey's table tennis. So Atari got sued. Magnavox also sued anybody else who came up with a paddle and ball game, and raked in the modern equivalent of $300 million before their patent expired. Anyways, people started going nuts because they could control some lights on their TV, so game companies started pumping out new consoles and random games, and people were just eating it up for a while. This was the second generation of video games, and the whole gaming market crashed after people realized that everything was garbage. This led way to some better innovations for the third generation. That's when the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. There still wasn't much technology available in these marvelous boxes, but programmers were starting to put together all sorts of hacks to make decent games. They had to program in assembly, of course, meaning they just controlled all the game logic almost down to the bare metal. If you weren't incredibly talented, then your game probably sucked. Most games sucked. It's kind of cool to look back and see that video games were still made and engineered 40 years ago using a similar process today, yet completely different at the same time. Hey, did I ever mention that Sega and Atari were also competing in this generation? Nobody really cares about them though because they're gone now. Anyways, the fourth generation was basically the same thing but with more power to play with. The fifth generation introduced some 3D graphics. The sixth generation was the only generation where Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sega competed side by side. Sega got blown out and it's pretty much been the same ever since. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, meh. At this point, AAA games are a lot more about marketing than actual game design, and that's okay, because innovation will surely come around eventually, right? In the meantime, if you're looking to create your own games, you can look at my channel for some good tutorials. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, because this is the outro and I'm running out of things to say.